An oil worker dies 3 times.
Because I wasn't in my body anymore. I was looking down at myself.
He comes back to life, but his house is haunted.
I was like, oh! I was like, I know you saw that.
Bigfoot hunters wait years for a sighting.
Oh my God!
Then 3 come along at once.
It is a break and a print. That's the right foot. Big toe, that's the left foot. I can't believe this.
A lucky black cat also leaves tracks.
He was transparent. And that's what got me.
Returning in a ghostly form a year after he went missing.
And from that point, he just literally disappeared into thin air.
And a pub's regular spook can't hold his drink. All around the world, millions of people are capturing the unexplainable on their mobile phones and security cameras. In this series, we hear firsthand from the people involved.
I was terrified. I was upset.
I saw it, and I captured it on my camera.
Something was there, something was watching us.
What is that?
As we reveal the most remarkable,
I'm getting really dizzy,
spine-chilling,
Oh my God! Oh my God!
and unexplainable footage shot by you.
No, this is freaking me out.
Our experts will be watching along,
Whoa!
That is very odd.
What? Oh, wow.
trying to solve your unexplained mysteries.
When I see a really good piece of evidence, I get really excited because it's putting one more piece of the puzzle together.
I'm open-minded to the possibility, but as a hardcore skeptic, I will always turn to the natural explanations first.
I've been a medium all my life. I was born this way. I think there's so many things that we don't yet know, we don't understand, and we don't have enough knowledge about.
I've got well over 20 years' experience in the paranormal field. And as a technical investigator, I've seen, heard, and experienced things that are truly unexplainable.
This is Unexplained, caught on camera. Abilene, Texas, North America. The heart of the oil belt. Home to Nick Summers.
I was a roughneck. I worked in the oil fields. In the summer of 2019 in July, I went to work like usual. I was in a very, very, very horrible accident. But equipment failed and fell 50 feet. It was about 280 pounds and it hit me in the back of steel. And it ended up caving in. My heart had into my head.
Oh, no.
It broke 27 bones in my back. It collapsed my right lung.
Jesus.
Nick was on the edge of death.
I was on the rig floor for about 40 minutes before they loaded me in the helicopter, and that's where I started to flatline.
Paramedics brought Nick back to life twice before he got to hospital.
They're yelling at me, hold on, stay with us. And I could feel my body getting real cold. And that's when things started getting really different for me. When I flatlined again, that's when I started coming out of my body. And when I say my body, it's because I wasn't in my body anymore. I was looking down at myself, feeling bad for myself, like, wake me up.
They'll feel as though their spirit has detached and they're looking down on themselves, which can be really frightening.
An emergency shot of adrenaline was the only way to bring Nick back from the dead.
And once they stabbed me in the heart with adrenaline, all of a sudden, it felt like everything exploded. It just felt like an eruption in my body, like a bomb went off. And everything went black.
Nick effectively died 3 times and was put in an induced coma.
The whole time, I was like almost outside my body, just watching myself for days.
Nick needed 3 blood transfusions and his skull glued back together. 5 days later, he was awake, but the boundary between the living and the dead had blurred.
Craziest part of it all is ever since that accident, it's like the paranormal volume got cranked up. The veil in between us and the afterlife is thinner, I believe, my personal belief, is thinner to me now. Because no matter where I go, what I do, if there's something spooky dooky, I feel it.
Nick recovered at home for 9 months with his ultra-sensory dogs. A strange phenomena became the norm.
I started noticing things around the house, shadows whipping by, hearing voices in the house when I'm by myself. And then at nighttime, I start seeing these little lights flashing in the room going by.
I find that whole concept, though, absolutely fascinating. This idea that, you know, you've basically crossed the veil or peeked over that particular boundary, which then means that you're open to and more susceptible to paranormal experiences. Fascinating.
Nick set up cameras to try to capture the unexplained events.
I'm laying in bed one day and I hear a crash. And I thought it was a car wreck outside. So I come run down the hallway. I look over and I see the TV and the wax burner on the ground. And I was like, that's really weird.
Wow! Oh my God. Wow. The whole thing.
Was that his TV?
And even during the TV repair, the odds seem stacked against Nick.
When I have everything back up, the Cincy light goes poof right in front of my face.
Things got scary around the home. Nick seems to be connected to the other side, and the extraordinary events are about to get much worse. On the other side of the Atlantic, in England, a woman from Liverpool has also had a new connection with the other side.
My name is Beth and I live in Liverpool. So I am a drama teacher and I am also a social media influencer. I share anything that happens to me. I moved into this house 18 months ago. I live here with my daughter and my partner, Terry. When I first moved into this house, I didn't feel much of an energy, but there was always something a little bit strange.
Then her daughter started talking to an imaginary girl.
These are the stairs where it all started, where it all happened, when my daughter was stood at the bottom, looking directly up and waving, blowing a kiss. And I felt that somebody was here trying to send some kind of a message, and maybe that they were using my 3-year-old daughter to do this. This isn't just a 3-year-old being silly on the stairs. This isn't just typical 3-year-old behaviour.
Beth's child talking to what seems to be nobody there, that's actually quite common with children. Children are born very, very open to the spirit world.
Almost as if they're closer connected to spirits because they're younger and more innocent, and then eventually they lose that gift or ability.
I've certainly known parents who have children that they believe are communicating with spirits of people who used to live in the building and are seeing things that we've become closed off to. So I can appreciate how scary this must be for her.
Out of the blue, Beth got an unexpected knock at the door.
I was greeted by a lady I'd never met before and used to live in my house. We're talking nearly 50 years ago. And she had a little girl, and my daughter used to play on the stairs, and I think that your daughter could be talking to the spirit of my daughter.
And strange things started to happen around the house.
The main thing that I found very abnormal was scratching. I'm going to say this as calmly as I possibly can. But I'm home alone. There's no TV on or anything. The cupboard with the boiler in was making very strange scratching noises. Just taking a minute, like in the silence, and I heard, let me just see, with the.
Sounds like little claws.
It's like a rustling noise.
Can you hear that? Please tell me that I'm not going mad. Can you hear that?
I can hear it. I can hear it. I'm talking to you now.
Can you hear that?
It sounds like bubble wrap being played with.
I'm never going to be able to hear this. I need to listen back. I'm going downstairs now. I'm going downstairs now.
Later, events escalate and things get bloody for Beth.
No, this is freaking me out. I can't do this on live.
One of the most enduring legends in the unexplained world is Bigfoot. A mythical creature witnessed numerous times, mostly in a remote section of North Carolina in North America. Much of the filmed footage of Bigfoot has been discredited, but the sightings continue. At the foot of the Appalachians, a dedicated team, the Sasquatch Watchers, have been filming evidence of large creatures leaving their mark.
I think it might be prints. Because look how, like you said, like you put your foot down here, look how big that is. I woke up and as soon as I see him over there, I'm like, whoa, there's like at least 50 to 60 footprints in the snow going from one side of the tree line to the other. And we're just sitting there looking at them like, these are footprints in the snow.
Look at this. It looks like something had walked through here with a pretty big feet. And if you look right here, it looks like a melted print, but it looks like it had toes and claws, like bam, 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 bam.
We noticed how there's toe indentions in the ground, and it's almost like you see like jagged toenail marks that are just cutting through the snow and ice. Look right here. Get in on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the foot is melted away to make it look bigger. But look at the top of these right here.
Yeah.
Toes.
Yeah.
So you got a toe here, 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 and then it was the whole heel.
And let me ask you something.
Cryptozoology and the mythical cryptids they investigate are controversial in the paranormal world.
Oh wow, they're really big. They're huge footprints, aren't they?
Small one and a big one. That means more than one. So it looks like this one might be a parent and a juvenile.
With footprints of that size and that freshness, I wouldn't be wanting to track them.
They're not spread out apart, but it looks like there was multiple ones walking through here.
Well, I mean, like,
and it's that bow-legged walk, like everyone says. They kind of walk like this.
These guys are a little bit nuts.
When you look at it from this angle, it looks exactly like a footprint.
The Sasquatch Watchers remain believers.
Look! Shh, there's two new rocks! Look!
One night, the traps they set were triggered, and they made their biggest discovery.
It is a break and a print!
It is a print.
I told you it was a break. Look at that son of a bitch. That's the right foot. Big toe, that's the left foot. I can't believe this.
With perfect little toe prints.
Yes! Yes!
All right, that's a pretty big footprint.
I'm not moving from this spot. We gotta have plaster repairs.
When you put the water in this stuff.
The ingredients were prepared to make a physical Bigfoot.
David's making a cake.
Look at that.
Textbook, Dave, textbook.
This is one of our, I guess, prized possessions because of how neat this print turned out.
Guys, check out the toes on this. Like, this is a monster.
A monster? Or a monster hoax?
So forests, woodland are always going to make us feel a little bit uneasy, especially if we're going in there looking for monsters.
Believe with no evil. Believe with no evil.
Whatever it is, it's trying to separate us.
So it's no wonder that when people go to forests, they get a little bit spooked out already. Every crack becomes a footstep. Every twig breaking becomes a spirit. Every animal making movement might become a monster. So already our senses are really heightened and we're ready to protect ourselves. So it's no wonder that we get a little bit freaked out when we're in deep, deep woods.
Oh my
Oh, God!
I can't believe this!
I saw it.
Bro!
These guys are clearly looking for evidence that these cryptids do exist. I think that's interesting. I think that they are onto something. They definitely have some potential evidence there that there is a Sasquatch in the vicinity. In North America, there are so many sightings every single year of the Sasquatch and the Yeti. So these creatures do exist. In my opinion, there is enough evidence to support the notion that there are cryptids and essentially Bigfoot walking around in North America.
I love a good cryptid. If someone wants to show me a massive footprint, I'm there. I think these are really interesting, but I also think some of them are really clear and really humanoid.
That is true.
But the Squatch watchers are convinced it's not human.
Oh my God.
This probably just ended our hunt, huh?
Is this a hybrid cross of a humanoid and a primate that just got stuck in its evolving stages like caveman or something? We don't know.
That looks like two eyes right there.
They could be supernatural. They could possibly even be alien. We don't know. That's why we're out here trying to figure out the answers.
All around the world, people are tracking down and filming bizarre animal behavior. It's not just big footprints, but real animals in the natural world. These cluster bomb spiders really leave their mark. They fall as a group, leave a big footprint, then climb back up. Just for fun? A bizarre mating ritual. Their behavior remains unexplained. These guys are more individual. In a standoff with the occupier who just wants to sit on his couch. The only way to dislodge them? Use a packet of tissues as a weapon. He's not going back for the tissues. But if you really want a pest control challenge, try living by a lake when the mayflies are in mating frenzy.
Here we are. Yes.
Get right with the Lord. This, I can't even. This is like biblical. What? What the?
If you don't want to be undone by flies, just blow them off. Back in Texas, in North America, the home of a former oil worker is becoming a weird place to live. Nick Summers and his fiancée, Kinsey, were watching TV when a pen on the table develops its own energy out of nowhere.
I'm sitting there hanging out with Kinsey, we're watching TV, and I don't even notice the pen kind of moves a little bit in the video, and then it rolls across.
Wow. That just moved on its own.
Oh, it was definitely an unnatural movement of that pen to kind of roll across. It's almost as if it's being dragged.
I was like, oh, I was like, I know you saw that, and we got the camera. I was like, got it.
Oh, so the pen starts to move and then it finally goes. Okay.
On another evening, Nick's dog senses something wrong with a spoon in a cup.
I'm sitting on my couch, I got the TV going on, and I see my spoon just swirl around my cup. And not only that, but my dog caught it too. Like, if you look at my dog's looking at it like, whoa, that was kind of weird.
Yep, the dogs have seen something. As it moves, as the spoon moves in the cup, the dogs go, you know, and literally, like, they're looking.
Oh, right. Okay, so that looks like a spoon in his mug moving by itself. I'm just going to play that again. Okay, that's pretty weird.
The presence was strong, and the house wasn't big enough for the both of them.
Kinsey was like, hey, we got to move out of this house. We got to get out of here. I don't feel comfortable. That's how bad it was getting. So we moved out of the house.
Nick's story is absolutely amazing. There's a reason that this could all be happening to him, and that's because with a near-death experience, all the protective angels, all your loved ones that are watching over you and helping you to get back here because it's not your time to pass. So it's quite possible that this has almost thinned the veil between the other world and this world.
Nick wasn't going to let his newfound connection with the afterlife go to waste.
You gotta ask yourself one question. Are you scared of the dark?
Is there anything that you wish to say in here? Speak into our camera so we can hear you.
I'm not sure what's up with it, but since my accident, I'm interacting with them.
Yeah, you standing right in front of me, aren't you, big boy? Are we having a party? Hey, is that Tiny?
They're opening up to me, coming towards me, hanging out with me. I call them energy bandits.
You want me to come back? Talk to me, I'm not scared. Where you at?
Nick wanted to know why he was picked out by the energy bandits and delved into the world of the paranormal, with extraordinary reactions caught on camera.
That's unexplainable. It doesn't make sense. You cannot explain it.
Back in Liverpool, Beth can't explain the strange noises in her house either.
Can you hear that? Please tell me that I'm not going mad. Can you hear that? This is the cupboard where the scratching was mainly heard. My immediate thought was, of course, a rational one. Maybe it's a mouse.
Beth is clearly very, very worried by the scratching noise that she could hear coming from the cupboard. The thing is, though, houses make noises, and you can't just presume that every noise is paranormal activity.
For me, that scrabbling little scratchy noise inside the cupboard is more terrifying than anything paranormal. I think maybe it might be time to get the exterminator in, because I don't think that's a ghost. I think that's a rat.
There was no sign of droppings or anything that could have been from like a small rodent or anything. So it was just an unexplainable noise. I'm thinking about going around to a friend's until Terry's home later because I can't. After a few days, I was sent several messages, quite a lot of messages, from people saying that I should get this paranormal team in.
The investigators got to work immediately and sensed a presence.
The guy at the top said, "Can you tell us your name?" And with that, the guy at the bottom shouted up, "Have you asked for a name? It's given me a name." And he said, "Yeah, actually I did." With that, he told the guy at the top of the stairs, he shouted up the name that was coming through. And I was in the bedroom and I just shouted, oh my goodness, with shock. So the two guys went, what, Beth, are you okay? What's happened? And the live stream went crazy. Is Beth okay? What's happened? Beth sounded frightened, she sounded shocked. And I said, that name that you have just said, that came through, I've told nobody. And nobody could guess this name. And I've told nobody. And the lady that turned up at the house that day that told me about her daughter, who used to live here until she was 5, that was her name. That was her name. She was the one that my daughter was potentially speaking to on the stairs. It's very, very, very spooky and shocked me a lot. When the paranormal investigation ended, I did a live stream and something very strange happened. Yeah, guys, I ended up, sorry. All of a sudden, blood started pouring from my nose. Terry. No, Terry.
What? Oh, that's... Oh, yeah, wow. A nose.
Sorry. No, this is freaking me out. I can't do this on live.
She's upset, and it's proper bleeding.
I've never had a nosebleed in my entire life, ever.
Never had a nosebleed by the time you're an adult. I suppose it can be quite scary.
I thought that it could not be a coincidence that this nosebleed could happen so quickly after the investigation had just taken place. And since it happened, I've not had a single nosebleed since.
Spirits can cause things like nosebleeds. It's rare, but it can happen.
Your blood pressure can go up too. When you're panicky, your body reflects this.
Nosebleeds have been closely linked with some form of spirit attachment, even demonic possession, but I don't think that's the case. In this particular instance, I think that it's just a coincidence.
Beth has her own conclusions and is still looking for a solution.
So after all these very eerie and unexplainable events had happened, I felt I had my answers. I may have helped answer its questions. I know that it is here, and I've acknowledged it, and my family have acknowledged it, but we no longer want it here anymore.
It's not just in Liverpool that people are connecting to the other side. All around the world, visitors from the afterlife look like they're being caught on camera.
Wow, that's beautiful.
In the US, this guy thinks he's found the gates to heaven.
At 5:51 in the morning, this is what we see in the sky.
But it's not just one-way traffic. The deceased sometimes appear to return. In this home, the pets scatter before a woman seems to linger in the hallway. The owner gets up for the loo, but goes straight through her. The woman and cats disappear into thin air. And on this woman's front porch, her recently deceased father appears to come back for one last swing on the hanging bench. In the north of England, the market town of Kendal, Cumbria. Tucked deep amongst the oldest buildings, the Ring of Bells. A free house full of free spirits.
The pub is nearly 400 years old. It was built by the bell ringers of the church next door in 1741.
Historically a makeshift mortuary for the church before burials. Built on top of a graveyard.
One of the unique things about this pub is it's one of the only pubs in the country that's built on consecrated land.
The legacy of the dead who have passed through the pub appears to have made an impact.
Ever since I first moved into this pub, I have felt an energy. I'm a believer in the paranormal. I've seen far too many things that I can't explain.
Amongst them, doors that refuse to remain shut.
When I first moved in here on 3 separate occasions at 3:30 in the morning, and it was always at 3:30 in the morning, the loft hatch has just dropped open. So basically this is the noise that it makes at 3:30 in the morning. That's very loud. And when you're half asleep, that really does wake you up. It makes a really loud noise and it scared me half to death.
Could it have been the mysterious ghostly man in the corridor?
As you can hear, they all creak, and he walked down towards the bedroom, which is bedroom number 5. So I opened my bedroom door to see what was going on. There was just no sign. So again, that's something that I can't really explain.
And it's not just at night that Scott gets disturbed. Down in the cellar, he's even the target of ghostly missiles, including a food bowl for a cat.
The cat ball was sat on here, and I was stood over here washing barrels. So I was literally stood with my back to it here, and it hit me on the back of the head. So for it to come off there, it would have to come with some force, because if it just rolled off, it would just drop onto the barrels. So again, I can't explain how it managed to hit me with force on the back of my head.
But the most famous incident involves one particular table in the bar.
We've had several incidents with that particular table, never in anywhere else in the pub, just on that particular table in that particular spot. I was serving at the bar, and there was two people that I was serving. Customer walked over, he put the glass and his partner's glass down next to him, he picked his partner's up, passed it to her, and the glass was just left there, and then he just sort of walked out the room.
What happened next has become the stuff of local legend.
The glass was sat on the table for 2 or 3 minutes on its own, and all of a sudden started moving towards the edge of the table. It then moved slightly to the left and dropped off and smashed all over the floor. The first we knew about this event was when we heard the glass smash on the floor, as nobody was looking at the table at that time. It was just sat there, doing nothing, and then all of a sudden moved.
When off it goes. Oh dear. That's a very, very wasteful ghost.
Oh, all right. It's a pretty violent smash, but it did fall off. It did hit a hard object. It's gonna break. But who pushes it off?
That glass. Moving, going, gone! Oh my God, wow.
When you think about it, when the glass comes towards you to take a drink, you bring the glass towards you and then you move it to the side. And that's how I think, that's why I think it's paranormal, is because it comes down the table and moves to the side, as if someone was trying to take a drink but couldn't grip the glass and the glass just fell off. There was nobody nearby, there was no vibrations, there was no cars going past. You know, I was there at the time when it happened. It was just something that literally is, it just can't be explained.
Some of our experts agree.
I think that the glass falling so smoothly, this really makes me feel that this is true paranormal activity. I can't debunk this. I really do think this is a genuine spirit moving the glass.
Others are more sceptical.
Now, this is shocking footage, you know, and I, for one, am always very, very sad to see alcohol wasted. But I think in this instance, maybe the glass was just a little bit too close to the edge.
But it has been there for some time until it mysteriously starts to move, almost as if someone's got their finger and is slowly pushing it off the edge of the table. I don't necessarily think that it's evidence that the pub is haunted, but I think the anecdotes and the stories and everything that's been told about this establishment over the years could signify potentially that the property is indeed haunted.
And with active pubs set up to serve spirits, they're more likely to have spirited activity.
I think there's another part to all of this, which is pubs are the centre of storytelling. As a nation, we love to tell stories about ghosts, and pubs are the prime location for telling ghost stories. And suddenly, anything that happens in those locations, you may then attribute to being the presence of a ghost.
Lost valued pets have caused heartache amongst families across the world. In North America, in the mountains of Georgia, a very independent cat pulled off one of the most drawn-out long goodbyes to be caught on camera. Daryl and Tori Wade moved their family to a remote cabin in 2020. It was a big change of scene for their cat, Vader.
When we moved here to the mountains, we brought our cat Vader with us. He had been an inside cat the whole entire time we had him.
Never been outside.
All went well until their first Christmas.
He got out just before Christmas. We searched the mountains, and the kids helped us look for him for weeks and weeks and weeks. We rode the trails on the four-wheelers looking for him, or any just remains at least, and could never find anything.
A former indoor cat in search of adventure was lost to the wild. The family had no idea what happened to Vader. Until 12 months later, the following Christmas Eve.
I got the alert on my phone about some motion going on in the backyard. When I went to check it is when I saw the apparition, I suppose, of the cat walking through the backyard.
The footage has divided our experts.
Oh, I like that. No, I genuinely like that.
Oh. A ghost cat will not have reflective eyes because it's in a different dimension to ours, so the light won't bounce and reflect off.
Oh, wow.
So a cat disappearing, reappearing, the glow of light, and off he goes.
The jury's out, but there's one crucial bit of physical evidence that remains unexplained.
When we went outside to check on it to see if there was actually an animal outside, we found our cat's collar in the driveway.
In the very middle of our driveway, up at the top of it, with his name and everything. Was not tore up or anything.
Looked like it had just slipped off, or like he just brought it and dropped it and scurried on through the yard.
It was an unbelievable discovery. A drop-off almost a year to the day after Vader went missing. But was it Vader or Vader's ghost?
What I saw was the figure of a feline that was about the size of Vader.
The smooth stride walk.
And
disappeared.
He was transparent. And that's what got me. He was transparent. He walked maybe 5 to 7 feet on past the camera. He turned around and looked at the camera as if to say, I'm okay.
It's like he looked straight at the camera and his eyes reflected.
And from that point, he just literally disappeared into thin air.
Despite the unexplained footage, Vader's owners felt he popped back to say goodbye.
It all just kind of made sense in my head that that's what he was letting us know, that he's around and he's okay.
It was an experience,
a heartwarming experience.
A positive experience.
Daryl and Tori have Vader's name tag, and that's enough proof for them that it was Vader.
I've seen more and more video captures like this over the last few years with the advent of motion-activated security cameras, but I think it's brilliant, and I love footage like this. It's actually quite touching that an animal will come back to say goodbye.
I want it to be Vader, and I'm not going to say categorically it isn't, because I think that's cruel. But I will say, I think that home security cameras aren't the most reliable of things.
The cat looks as if it's manifesting in some way, then it's kind of disappearing and then manifesting again. But it does make me wonder whether this is more of an issue with the CCTV camera.
This footage raises an interesting philosophical question about the fact that if humans can come back and haunt in spirit form, can animals do the same thing?
And it's not just a cat called Vader. Animals with an independent streak are being caught on camera all around the world. This sea lion has bust out on his own and is genuinely confused by his new herd. They look nothing like his old mates. He's a complete fish out of water